Hi, everybody. April 22nd here. And I guess a lot of you people are digging what I'm doing with these little videos here, and especially the music stuff. So thanks, man. I'll keep going. And today I'm going to turn you on to a band called Moby Grape. And I first discovered Moby Grape back in the early 90s when Brother John and I were living together. And I noticed a Relics magazine he had, and there was an interview with Skip Spence at the time. And they were kind of hawking their album. It was a double disc set that Columbia had released called Vintage, the very best of Moby Grape. And it was like all the Columbia releases. And I got it on CD, and it just blew my mind. I was like, whoa, who are these guys? And I've been a Grape head ever since. Now, they came out in the 60s. They were considered America's answer to the Rolling Stones. There was a huge bidding war for them. They were hot, and what is considered to be the most perfect debut album, the Moby Grape album, they released. And then whatever went wrong went wrong with those guys. Grape was made up of 5 different guys: Skip Spence, Jerry Miller, Bob Mosley, Peter Lewis, and Don Stevenson. Skip was kind of the creative mind for them. He originally played drums with Airplane, and I think he played on Surrealistic Pillow or left just before it and formed his own project. The other thing was Peter Lewis, who was a guitar player and singer. They all sang, which was really cool, and they were all writers. He was the son of Loretta Young, the film star. And strangest thing is his sister. He had an older sister who I read her autobiography. And she has passed, unfortunately. Judy Lewis, not knowing she was the secret. Her book was called In Plain Sight, or Hide in Plain Sight, or Everyone, something like that. I'll tell you what it was. Judy Lewis's book was called Everyone Knows. Uncommon Knowledge. And the interesting thing about it is she was the love child of Clark Gable and Loretta Young. So she was a half sister, and that book is possessed. But yeah, that was Peter Lewis's. And then the other guys are all just various guys that played together. And Skip was kind of the glue that held it together. And I think I'll go through the albums first and sort of tell you the story. First album, 67's Moby Grape. Perfect album. Hey Grandma, Mr. Blues, Fall on You, 805, Come in the Morning, Omaha, Naked If You Want To, Someday, Ain't No Use in Saying That I Love You, Sitting by the Window, Peter Lewis's beautiful ballad, Changes, Lazy Me, and Indifference. And this album comes out, and it's mind-blowing. And things started to go wrong. First off, they had the corrupt manager who they signed all the rights away to him, including the name. Secondly, when they were releasing the album, when they recorded it at the time, they used this wild sort of spatial, they kind of put the stuff out of phase to make this wild stereo picture. Now, if you don't know anything about recording and stereo and stuff like that, let me just tell you that you want to always have a pseudo mono mix of whatever you record, because if you think about it, when it's played in a store or a restaurant or something like that, you're only hearing one speaker. And if you hear one speaker, especially if it's crazy stereo, the sounds will cancel each other out. And at the time, 99% of people had AM radios, so the song sounded like caca on the radio because no one heard them in stereo. Then they released 5 singles instantaneously, which confused the radio, and definitely they didn't know what to do and didn't know which single to promote. And then when they had their big album release party for that album, 3 of the guys were busted with drugs and underage women. So it was like constantly, it whatever could happen went wrong, and it just continued on. So 68, they released Wow / Grape Jam, and Wow, it's excellent. The Place and the Time, Murder in My Heart for the Judge, Bitter Wind, Can't Be So Bad, which is one of the cookinest bluesy. Oh, I love that song. Just like Gene Autry, Foxtrot, which was actually recorded on the album in '78. So you had which I can imagine can be a major pain. When you went to play that album, you had to switch the track to '78. Then Peter Lewis's which is brilliant. Motorcycle Irene, Skip Spencer's Motorcycle Irene, which is fantastic. 3/4, Funky Tunk, Rose-Colored Eyes, Miller's Blues, and Jerry Miller's Naked If I Want To, which is fantastic. Around this time, Skip went a little crazy. He got really heavy into the drugs. He was kind of like the Syd Barrett of the band. Got really heavy into the drugs and went nuts. And he went after one of the guys, I can't think of it, chased him with an axe and tried to kill him. They were in New York City. He tried to chop his door down. And then he went after the producer-manager, David Rubenstein. And Rubenstein called the police, had him committed to Bellevue, and he was never the same since. And he sort of dissipated after that. So they went down from a 5-piece to a 4-piece, 69's Moby Grape. Moby Grape 69, which is my favorite of all the albums. I think it's fantastic. Ooh Mama Ooh, Ain't That a Shame, I'm Not Willing, It's a Beautiful Day Today by Bob Mosley, one of the most gorgeous tracks. Hoochie, Truckin' Man, If You Can't Learn From My Mistakes, great witty song by Peter Lewis. Captain Nemo, What's to Choose, brilliant. Going Nowhere, and then the only song, kind of like Pink Floyd did with Saucerful of Secrets, they included one Skip song called Seeing, and it's fucking amazing. You've probably heard of it called Skip's Tune, but Seeing is amazing. So that's Moby Grape 69. And then they whittled down again to a 3-piece, and they released, in 69, they went down to Nashville, Bob Johnson produced them, and they released Truly Fine Citizen, which is, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's really, really missing. It's kind of static. It didn't have that just jamming balls that the first 3 had. Changes, Circle Spinning, Looper, Truly Fine Citizen, Beautiful's Beautiful, Love Song, Right Before My Eyes, that's a great tune. Open Up Your Heart, Now I Know High, Treat Me Bad, Tongue Tied, Love Song Part 2. And those albums were not released for years. You couldn't even get them on CD. Again, the manager ruined, they couldn't even tour under Moby Grape. They had to release everything. Unless he did it, he had fake bands. And then Sundays Records actually released remastered editions with bonus tracks. And then all of a sudden, when the first Moby Grape came out, and a really good remaster, all of a sudden it got pulled off. And I grabbed it online on Amazon. It was pulled off as I put in my notes. I bought it in 2007, Sunday's 2007 remaster with bonus tracks that was immediately pulled from the shelves because Matthew Katz is a dick. And I bought it immediately off eBay. So those 4 I have are the remastered, the Sunday's remasters. Then they lived together at a place called 20 Granite Creek. The original band got together, so they released an album in 71 called 20 Granite Creek, which is pretty good. It's not great. Trying to Make Magic Again, Gypsy Wedding, I'm the Kind of Man that Baby You Can Trust, About Time. Then Going Down to Texas, which is a fantastic Peter Lewis song, outstanding. Road to the Sun, Apocalypse, Chinese Song, which is an instrumental by Skip Spence, Roundhouse Blues, Ode to the Man at the End of the Bar, Wild Oats Moan, and Horse Out in the Rain. Not bad at all, but it's okay. In 78, they released a live album called Live Grape. Again, they couldn't tour as Moby Grape, so they would actually tour as Maybe Grope and stuff like that, or the original Grape or whatever. So this album, Live Grape, and that's all it says. And it's only got 3 of the guys. I think only Miller, Lewis, and a couple of guys, and like maybe only 2 of the guys. Cornelius Bumpus plays sax on it. And it's okay. It's an interesting album. It's all original live, but nothing That'll really knock your socks off. In '84, they had a reunion album, Moby Grape '84. Silver Wheels was, I think, the single they released off it. It's not bad. It's not great. Again, they sort of, I don't know, worked out again with Matthew Katz. However it was, he held it, and it's called Moby Grape '84. And then the final album, I think, came out in '88. And it was a cassette only, and it came out as Legendary Grape. Like I said, it was a cassette only album, and it was the last thing that I think all 5 of them were together on, and then everything sort of split. And there's a bunch of stuff. I picked up a bunch of live albums, Ebbsfield '74, Live Grape Ebbsfield '74, and then there's a live in 2010 that they released, and then everyone sort of released solo albums. And it just, Skip eventually died. He was, in a halfway house. He died. I think Bob Mosley was, he was homeless. Skip was homeless. And then Skip died at the age of like 55, 52, and it just, and then a huge lawsuit happened, and they won the right to get their name back, and they started touring as Moby Grape again, some of the remaining members, but they don't play that much anymore. I think Bob Mosley still releases stuff. I think Jerry Miller still releases stuff. The only person I really followed was Peter Lewis. His solo album in '95, Peter Lewis, is actually really good. Then he paired up with an acoustic with a guy called David West, and they did an acoustic album, 2003, live in Bremen. And I could only find it on half.com. I bought it in 2015, and it was like $70. And I was like, oh man, I really like it. But the person had written, there's a bonus disc I'm selling you with all the songs that weren't on it, or that couldn't be released on it for legal reasons. And it's probably one of the best things I ever did when I bought it, because that bonus track, and I actually recreated, and he actually wrote, the person who included a sheet of paper with what the full concert was. And so when I ripped it to MP3, I can now hear the full concert. I think for legal reasons, he couldn't release certain songs, and it's fantastic, especially this version, but I paid heavy coin for that. Then he released 2013 Live at the Libero Theater with David West, another acoustic album. It's not bad. It's pretty decent. The one thing about the Live in Bremen is he tells a lot of stories. That's really cool. 2017, he released Just Like Jack, a studio album, which it didn't really rankle me. And then in 2019, I just got it a couple days ago, he released a studio album called The Road to Zion, which is okay. It's not bad. But if I were to recommend anything, it's 95's Peter Lewis. And if you can find that live in Bremen, like I say, I think I've got a sacred copy of it. But for whatever that's legit on that one, it's outstanding. So, folks, Moby Grape, man, do some research on them. The first 3 are must-haves, okay? Moby Grape, Wow, and then Moby Grape '69. So until we talk again, folks, come on, man. Stay home. I saw this joke out there where people are saying, oh, the curve's flattening, let's go out now. And somebody said, yeah, the parachute's working, let's take it off. Folks, it's unprecedented. It's not bullshit, all right? You guys that are out protesting and you're fucking assholes, all right? You're fucking assholes, all right? You're sacrificing my life. And as a matter of fact, if you want to go to church, if you want to protest, go to church. But I want to see you guys sign a fucking document that says, if I get this shit, I'm going to go drop dead in my own apartment. I'm not going to gum up the medical system because we don't have the fucking resources. We don't have the time to take care of you, all right? You going to do that? You big shot, right? You go ahead, walk around with your AK. You get that disease, don't go to the hospital. Let God save you, all right? Because you're bathed in his blood, all right? So that's all I got to say. Rant over. Everybody else who's semi-reasonable, stay home. Be safe. We'll get through this, okay? Have respect for the medical professionals that are putting their lives on the line to save your fucking ass. Peace.